Hi everyone, I'm here with my former coach David McNulty to catch up with him and share his thoughts during this time. So Dave, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been 6 weeks and 2 days since I last coached and seen my athletes. And 8 weeks ago, we were in Australia, finishing a great training camp, preparing for the Olympic trials. 7 weeks ago, we were heading to our last big competition before Tater, which was in Edinburgh. And me swimmers swam the house down, great shape, PBs, unrested. I was really, really happy. And then on that Tuesday, they announced that the Olympic trials was going to be postponed. And I actually got all the swimmers together and I says, look, guys, we thought we were going to the trials in 4 weeks' time. We're not now. It's finished. And it upset a lot of people. People had trained for years, if not, longer. And it was changing. So I give them the rest of the week off. And I thought, right, reset. Think about what you've done, have a little break, start back on Monday. And then it was that Friday that the whole lockdown came and the sports training village closed. And I've never seen them since that Tuesday night. So, you think back how much has changed in that time, but also your mind goes out to what is happening. Swimming is swimming and sport is sport. And this is a real nasty thing that's happening. People are losing lives. So you never forget that. But as a coach, I'm finding it tough. And I think the word I would say is it's waves with me. It's some days I'm fine and I look on a positive way and I think, we're nearly back in. And then some days it hits us and think, actually, how long is this going to go on for? I really miss my athletes. I really miss walking into the swimming pool and that vibe of coaching. So it comes in waves, and sometimes if I get a little bit down, I have to pick myself back up, and I look forward to getting back to work. I really do, but I'm not too bad. But waves with me. Miss it, okay with it, but can't wait to get back.
Yeah. And obviously, how are you managing to keep the swimmers motivated? Because it is a tough time. And I think a lot of people are struggling with the motivation, not knowing maybe when the next competition will be, when they'll next be back in training. So how are you managing to keep the guys at the Bath National Centre motivated day in, day out, really?
Yeah, it's a real tough one, isn't it? Because sometimes I'm not motivated. And, I can't let them see me lying on the settee thinking, when's this going to end? I have to still be caught. And I've always said it, that is coaching. It's not just the session. It's how you motivate your athletes and keep them right up there. I mean, today I've just finished a Zoom meeting with them. I do drop into a lot of their sessions when they're doing circuits and all that sort of stuff, which we might come to later. But this one on a Thursday, we do it every week. It's just me talking to my athletes, and it's how you doing, where's your head at? And it's real honest. And even today, some of them were a bit down. Some of them were a bit like, it's 6 weeks now. When's this going to end? And I like to go through them all individually and just ask how they're doing, how they're feeling. But then I always finish on a positive. And I think today's positive was, I told them the story about all the swimmers that I've had who've retired over the years. And God, they look back and think, my swimming career was awesome. I loved it. I traveled the world. I kept healthy. I trained every day. I was surrounded by a group of, colleagues, friends. But at the time, when you're in that bubble, you don't see it for what it is. And you think, training again, early mornings, swimming competitions, me weekends full. And it's not until you've actually retired that you look in and think, God, them swimming days were great. And what I've told them this morning is, now that we're at that 6 week point, and before they get in, it might be 8 or it might be 10 weeks, just to really reflect on them as a person and an athlete and swimming. And also, I said to them this morning, it is just swimming. And sometimes when we're in the bubble, we get all uptight and stressed and anxious about the sport of it. But in the big wide world, it is a sport and it is swimming and it should be fun. And I think today, after I'd said that to them, I told them to go and reflect on a few things, but look forward to getting back. Walking into the centre, smelling the chlorine again, and having to go into the gym. Where once before it was a bit of a chore, God, they'll be really excited about doing it again. So, yeah, that's how I keep them motivated. I left them this morning, and actually I felt much better because I'd seen the faces. I'd seen them smile at the end. We had a bit of a laugh, and they felt good and I felt good. And I'll see them again in the morning, but that'll be when they're doing a circuit and they're working, so it's a bit different. But I do need that contact where it's just me and them talking about how you're doing. So that's how I keep them motivated.
That's the thing. It's like you normally see them twice a day, you know how they're feeling, you have a really great coaching relationship. So I guess keeping up with that is really important. But obviously you do have a lot of structure at the National Centre, weekly plans. You have a lot of things going on, gym, swimming, physio, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. How are you kind of structuring the weeks? Are you sticking to similar kind of plans as normal, or has it changed a lot?
Yeah, it's interesting because we do plan a hell of a lot at the National Centre. And you know, Jazz, when we used to give them plans out Monday, well, first of all, you get your big plan, and that tells you where you're going from September to April, 36 weeks, we're going to do it in these blocks. But you know, the weekly plan that you get is everything you'll possibly have: physio, morning training, gym, doctor's appointment, flu injection. We have everything on there. And what we've tried to do is we've tried to keep that same plan. So on the Friday, they get the next week's plan. And actually, when I look at it now, there's actually 14 to 16 different sessions going on throughout the week. Wow. A lot of them are done via Zoom that I can drop into, which is weird again, because I'm used to be the one who's, you know, having the banter, pushing everybody, connecting with everybody. And now I'm sitting watching somebody else doing that. So that took us a little bit of getting used to. But the week now, it's really well structured. And when I've spoken to the athletes, I'm like, look, is it too much? Would you like a long weekend off? Do you want to finish on a Thursday? They actually said, look, it's hard. There's a lot of it, but please keep it and let's have the structure, because what they don't want is getting into a habit of getting up at 10:30, going to bed at 1 a.m. What they do now is at 8:30 every morning, they check in, they do all of the testing, they do the physio, they do a circuit, and then on an afternoon, it'll be something like a gym exercise, or it'll be your own CV work. Some of them are out cycling, running, on rowing machines and things like that. And even now, they're given figures of how many minutes they've spent in each area. And it's really busy, busy, busy. And sometimes I think, how did we used to train for 25 hours in the pool as well as this? But obviously, this is doing a job for now. It's keeping a structure. It's stopping them, the fitness deteriorating too much. It's keeping them up there, but also it's keeping them connected. Yeah. And it's actually keeping the staff connected as well. We're not just going our separate ways. So they're getting a real well-structured plan, and it's got everything in bar swimming. Yeah. And that's the thing that we're all waiting for to get back. And as the swimming comes in, we'll phase a few things out, and gradually we'll get back to normal. But honestly, the week is probably, 14 to 16 sessions. There's about 20 hours of stuff. You don't do everything, but there's loads of stuff for you to buy in. Some of it's compulsory. Some of it's done off their own back, but it's going really, really well. My staff have really stepped up to the plate to deliver a great land session.
Yeah, it definitely gives a really good focus, doesn't it? It gives them something to aim for, and just making the most of the time that they have now. I think we don't want to just sit and go backwards. We want to actually make the most of the time we have now. But obviously, absolutely, a lot of things with sport and swimming is like the goal set, and you always know what you're training for, what you're aiming for next, what the next competition is. You've got your kind of yearly plan where you think that's our target meet. How is this affecting the goals for obviously the season? Obviously, the Olympics been postponed to next year. How does this all affect you with like a lot of unknowns going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, when we'll have a 4-year cycle, you know, you might do Commonwealths, Europeans, and all that sort of stuff. But the biggest one every 4 years is the Olympics. Yeah. And that's the year that I really get up for. I call it the Olympic shift, where simply everything's done better. It's more purposeful. We know what's coming. We're going to the Olympics and we want medals. And that was taken away from us. There was a few weeks where our trials was cancelled, but we thought the Olympics was still going to go on. And everybody was a bit like panicky because we got told, the Olympics are still heading in July and we're in April, but we're not training, and everybody was panicking. Now, the good thing about it being postponed was people can relax, people could get their heads around it, and people could get over the fact that actually this is a massive change. Yeah. Now, with my swimmers, I'm really lucky because I think another year will be great for them. Some of them have got age on their side. They're coming through really fast, but just another year, I think they'll be even better. And that's how I've tried to sell it to the athletes, where actually, you know, it does hurt. The dream for this year has come to an end. We were 7.5 months into our cycle, 35 weeks. And I counted down weeks, and I really took them on a journey, and then it stopped. And I think we've got our heads round it now. It's the same for everybody around the world. It's who handles it better. But I've got athletes who I think in a year's time will be even better. So we've just got to take it for what it is, reset. As soon as I get a date for being back in, I'll set all my plans up. I'll be off and running. But today we're still waiting for that date. We don't know when it's going to be lifted. But then I'll get them again, and I'll reset again, and I'll talk about the Olympic shift again. And one of the good things is you can actually think, well, I had 7.5 months of that Olympic shift. How did it go? What worked? What could have been a little bit better? And let's do it again now. So we've had a bit of a rehearsal of 3/4 of the journey. Now let's do it again. And hey, you know, it'll test a few people. Some people mightn't be able to handle it and they'll wither away. And some people will be relentless and come through again. And I just think everybody will appreciate it even more. They really will.
I guess if you've got the goal, it doesn't matter. The time might change. It might be another year. Same with other people with different competitions. The goal still remains the same. It just means the time is slightly different, but that doesn't change the goal that you're trying to achieve. So I think that's a really important one. But obviously, it's been great catching up with you. But my final question I just wanted to ask is, like, what advice would you have for swimmers that are at home? Obviously, we're not like other sports where we can go out on our bikes if we're cyclists or runners. We do need the water to be able to swim. But what advice would you have for those swimmers at home that are kind of itching to get back training and that are feeling a bit lost maybe at home?
Yeah, it's a real funny one because you're right, Jazz. A lot of other sports can still do what they want to do, but we just can't hit any water. It's just, what I would say is two things. I would say the first thing is everybody's in the same boat. It's not like, you know, if you're ill or if you're injured, you're on the sidelines by yourself and the world's still training, everything's still going on. And that's really hard to handle. You know, if you snap your Achilles or whatever, you're out, but everybody else is still training. The first thing is everybody's stopped. Everybody's not swimming. It's all right. Nobody's getting ahead of anybody. Let's just stop. But the other thing is, and I think I'm there now and I'm trying to get my athletes to really think about it, is how good is it? How good is it to swim? How good is it to walk into a training session and be coached and have the banter of all your other athletes around you? And sometimes, you know, you start off at swimming to learn to swim. And then you start on a Friday club night at your local place. And then the coach might say, oh, you're pretty good. Come on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. And before you know it, you're doing 10 sessions a week. You're in a national centre. And you haven't appreciated how that journey's took you to there. Yeah. And this is a bit of a timeout and a bit of a reset. And if it doesn't excite you to get back in, I'll be very, very surprised. I just think the positive is it's been taken away from us. And we cannot wait to get back in and really appreciate it. You know, as a swimmer, you walk in sometimes and it's early mornings and you haven't had a break for 4 weeks and you haven't had a day off and it's, you know, it's a bit, oh, isn't life hard? Well, actually, life's pretty good. You know, being a swimmer, keeping healthy, traveling the world if you're lucky enough, competing, I just think is such a great thing. And as a swimmer, sometimes you don't step back and look in. And this will make everybody actually look in and think, I can't wait to get back. So it's a bit of a forced break. It's a real good time to reset and really look forward to getting back in there for everybody. And that's if you swim once a week, if you swim at a master's program, if you do 10 sessions a week like mine do, everybody can't wait to get back in and start it again. So for me, it's a reset and let's go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, that sounds great. And I think again, taking tips from you guys, having that kind of structure, routine, giving you a bit of focus, and we all will get through this. It will just take a bit of time, but we will get back in the pool. There will be a time. So thank you for everything today. I've really enjoyed it, and I think it will be so useful for people to hear from you. So thanks, Dave.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Jazz.